Is cold calling a thing of the past? Why, yes, it is. Cold calling is over. The only people who don't realize it are the people still making them, or worse, their bosses. I'm in a LinkedIn group called Sales Gravy. I'm following a thread about the ROI of cold calling. It's interesting to see how salespeople view cold calling. As you read my posts, you will gain insight to my philosophy and get a few sales tips on how to avoid cold calling forever. There were 100 other posts. Let me share mine with you. My definition of cold calling since 1992 has been waste of time. I've upgraded it since the onset of the internet to total waste of time. Oh, some people make sales cold calling, but not nearly as many with referrals by a margin of 50-1. Whatever your thoughts are about cold calling, one fact is undeniable. Of all the options to make a sales call, the cold call is by far the lowest percentage call. It's just easy to make, and salespeople do everything that's easy for them. And it's easy to manage because the manager says, go make cold calls. What would you rather have, 100 cold calls or 100 referrals? People have to cold call because they're transactional with customers. They have hunter-farmer 1970s mentality and don't take the time to build memorable relationships that lead to referrals. Instead of spending a day cold calling, why don't you spend a day with existing customers to earn referrals? There's a thought. Focus on delivering real value to your best customers and relationships will blossom. Real revenue comes from long-term relationships, not one-shot deals. Anyone trying to tell me that cold calls work or I made a lot of money cold calling will get my agreement. I did it. I made a lot of money cold calling, but I made millions by writing, positioning, delivering value first, and creating a reputation of excellence. And I recommend that you do the same. Someone's post. The accurate statistic that I can quote is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. My response was, almost, Bill. Closer to accuracy is you only miss 100% of the cold calls that you make. As I said in my other posts, some people have succeeded in cold calling. I've had success cold calling at the C-suite with referred inside information. But with reputation, relationships, and referrals, it blows away all the stats on cold calling and reduces the sales cycle time from connection to sale. You can say all you want about how great cold calling is or was, but the fact remains that it's the lowest percentage of sales among the options available. Oh, there's a bright side to cold calling. It's a great place to learn how to sell. It calls for real mental agility to get to the real decision maker and preparation combined with creativity once you do. And you feel great when you finally do make a sale, but in today's business world where most cold calling takes place on the phone or online, you're much better off with a referral, or better, when someone calls you. If you're in sales, you should spend the majority of your time in front of people who can say yes to you. If you're making cold calls, the majority of your time is wasted on people saying no. No wonder everyone fails at cold calling. No one gets what the real objective is. To get to the decision maker and create an atmosphere where he or she will want to buy, not sell them. Until that takes place, the ROI on cold calling is under zero. Reality is, the cost of lost opportunity for not investing your time in other sales-generating activities like earning referrals relegates you to having to cold call. The three elements are not art, best practice, and science. There's four elements: engage, provide value, prove worth, and get a signed contract. Any other results are an utter waste of time and effort, not to mention an annoyed potential prospect lost forever. I've been reading with amusement all the comments that have been posted about how to cold call. The one above is a classic example, and here's an exact quote from the Post. And here is a byproduct of cold calling. When you call in, you learn where the receptionist sends salespeople. That is, now you know where your competition is being sent, and you can make sure to protect that entry point in the future. Huh? Oh, are you kidding me? It's sharp thinking and a great sales thought. It's just starting at the bottom and a rehash of 1980s thinking. It takes 5 calls to get anywhere. If you use the business power of LinkedIn or social media power of Twitter and Facebook, this kind of sales stealth would not be necessary. In 2010, sales is not about 1 out of 10 calls or getting through the gatekeeper or calling and hanging up. Interesting that most of the people posting here have few, if any, LinkedIn connections, almost no recommendations, no Facebook fan page, and under 250 Twitter followers. In other words, they're doing things the way I did things in 1975, taking freight elevators to New York City to get to the floor of the buyer and walking in with no appointment. It was fun, and I got results, but there was no internet, and the world was receptive to salespeople. Not the case these days. Not one of these contributors talked about e-zine, blog, earning referrals, writing an article in an industry publication, or giving a speech at a trade show. All the ways of 2010 cold calling, resulting in people wanting to connect with you. Periodically cold calling in your customers or cold calling your customers is not a good idea. Sending them a value-based e-zine once a week, then maybe the customer or the prospect will call you. That's not a cold call. That's a hot call. Okay, there's my current thinking on cold calls, and some will argue that cold calling has and is working for them. Great, good luck. 2 out of 100 if you're a great salesperson. Personally, I'll take 100 referrals anytime.